always saw a great need to help people understand how you manage throughout the year. The 365-day-a-year management strategy.
A wildlife management plan is constantly changing. It's a dynamic piece. Diversity, that's the key.
So we strategized a kind of a management phase approach. I gave this document to one of our clients and he goes, man, I can follow that just like a cookbook. But we can only do one thing, and that's control the quality of the habitat that we have. July and August, decision-making time. Phase 3, the decision-making phase. Last spring we had a tornado come through this 40-acre tract and this 270 blow some trees down. And instead of going in and doing, reclamation of that stand, what we decided to do is go in and lower the basal area, take out the undesirable vegetation like the hickory, sweet gum, green ash, American ham, to get that sunlight to the ground floor where we could come back in and put the reforestation component back, the red oaks, the nuttaws, the willow oaks, and I am pumped about it. We're out here in this 40 growing beneficial weeds in the understory, getting that sunlight to the ground floor, growing this future forest. That's the program. That's what we've spent 12 long years trying to develop the program to get this red oak component back in and grow beneficial weeds in these woods for these waterfowl, especially the big mighty mallard.
We just put out a bunch of salt and was coming back out, driving down the road, and we wanted to take a second to show you something. We had to get up in the back of the truck where we could actually show this to you. I want you to look at the acorn production on this little sawtooth oak right here. It's incredible. And another thing, about October the 15th, opening day of bow season, before everything else starts dropping, I'm gonna have a stand right in there. And the first big fat doe that comes out in this road to get an acorn, I'm gonna try my best to run one through. As you can see from this soybean plot, our planting was correct. Our seed rate, seed type, and seed germination was correct. We had adequate moisture to produce a great stand of beans. Grazing pressure makes it look like we did everything wrong.
We're fortunate to grow up in Illinois, and some would call it monkey dirt. You throw it on the ground and it grows. We're out scouting some beans right now. We're trying to grow both beans and whitetails, and with as dry as it's been, we can't grow either of them. Welcome to soybean hell. This is one of the challenges that we're facing right now, is that the deer have just absolutely annihilated all of our beans because of lack of rain. And you'll notice here on this plant, we're working on the third trifoliate. And a trifoliate is when 3 true leaves come out of the stem, just like this here. And we're working on our third right now. So really, I would define this as, it's really a second trifoliate, but it's working on its third. And these are cotyledons. This is what first comes out of the ground, and you'll see when they're first coming up. You'll notice on this plant though, the deer just nipped the top off, so what it's doing is it's actually trying to set off another trifoliate out of a trifoliate because it's going into survival mode. But it takes the right conditions, and it takes a low density area to put in a small food plot, because right now I think I've got like 3 acres of Eagle soybeans out there right now, and they ain't growing. The deer are just mowing them down.
You know, 70% of a deer's diet is through native vegetation during, the growing season.
You have to remember, all a deer needs is roughly 16% protein. It reaches optimum potential. And here, just like where I'm standing right here,
And I always concentrate or tell my clients, provide cover that equals food. Through a no field type environment, for example.
roughly 20% protein. We have ragweed, which is roughly 18% protein. And we have goldenrod, which is 16% protein, just right here. I'm basically have, roughly 2,000 pounds of food per acre that I'm producing, and it doesn't cost me a dime.
And it only makes sense to concentrate on that. Especially in the Midwest, Ohio especially.
Deer love diversity, and this is diversity right here.
That's what deer need, in my opinion, and that's what we concentrate on, and we do it successfully as well.
That whole 2 or 3 week period, I'm riding in the truck, we're looking at habitat, we're making decisions.
There's a place I go, tucked back in the pines, where a green field grows, my own little paradise. I'm thankful for this land and the life that it provides. See, the measure of a man is what he leaves behind. Oh, oh, take what you need and pass it on down. Oh, give a little back to this sacred ground.
Sometimes you just got to get on old Chucky.
Your own sacred
Let him loosen up a little bit.
I am what I am. If you sit me down, I'm gonna talk like this. Kid trails in pine plantations, nothing can be better.
That'd have been good if he hadn't have just bulldozed the camera.